Okay, good morning. We're back to our Shalom Bayit class with Shalom Arsh's book. All right? Remember, this is only for men. Women, if you get on, get yourself off because it'll actually create worse Shalom Bayit problems than good. Okay, so it says right here, there are no mistakes. Yesterday we went through a story of a young man who thought, he was going to go religious heights to where his wife was not. He came to the rabbi, Rav Shalom Arush said, listen, I want a divorce. He told him, no, stay, pray. He defied his word. He said, no, I don't want to. And he didn't want to work on it. And at the end, he got divorced. Yeah, and he got himself a good girl, a girl that was a religious girl that wanted him to learn. And she didn't want him to work. And what happened? He failed. He went down to the point that he wasn't learning at all. You hear? Why? Because when the first one, he was going spiritually high because the first one was challenging him. She was sort of going against him, and therefore he was challenged, and he was going up spiritually. Here, the second one was already spiritually there. There was no challenge. So what happened? He fell. You hear? To the point that he got divorced from the second one as well. She wanted a divorce, absolutely. So it goes to show that there is no such thing as a mistake. Why is HaShem giving me this challenge? I'm not understanding why. You don't need to understand. What you need to do is to have the right emunah and bitachon, which is the next book which you start, is the emunah, right? Because it's very important to know that this is exactly what HaShem wants me to be. You hear? Meaning, why is it that when a person is born with a faulty leg or a faulty hand, he doesn't question HaShem? Or if he questions HaShem, he lives with the fact that he has a faulty hand. You hear? Why doesn't he question the fact that what's wrong with my faulty hand? Listen, that's what it is. And when we have situations where we have certain, challenges from the wife, from the kids, from the parents, it's a given. It's from HaShem. So you have to be able to work with it. So he says, there's no mistakes. There is no mistake or coincidence in a man's life. Everything is under Hashem's exact providence, and He does everything for man's good. In this case, Hashem knew full well that this student's motivation was very low, so He gave him many obstacles to stimulate the true spiritual growth. He's talking about the story that we just spoke about in this man that yesterday he had this challenged first wife, and she was challenging him. He says that's what he needed. All he had to do was try a bit harder each time while praying for strength and inspiration. As such, we would have come closer to Hashem. At every level, he would have yearned and prayed to take another step forward. And so he would have progressed. Meaning, if he would have stayed with the first one, what would he do? If he would take the advice of the rabbi, he would pray harder and harder and harder and harder, and he would see that there was slow growth, and he would pray harder again, and he would try to improve again, and therefore be slow growth. This way, making him into a major growing individual who is able to connect to Hashem through prayer, because that's the only way we can connect. If we know how to pray, we can rip up the heavens to a point where, I don't know if it ever happened to you, but happened to me many times in business, where you go through a day, 2, 3, a week, 2, with not really good business, especially in the jewelry business. It's not like you don't get sales every day, but it comes to a point where after like 2, 3 weeks, and the rent is due, all of a sudden your power of prayer gets a different level. You hear? And you're like, Hashem, please, and you go to work that day. Wow, it's like it's a different feeling. That you cannot repeat that the next day. For some reason, the next day you can't repeat that prayer. You know why? Because now you're comfortable. Now you have your rent money. Now you have whatever. And it's a different. So he's saying, why was he giving him such a tough woman in the beginning, the first wife? Why? Because he wanted to stimulate that power of prayer, the power of connection with Hashem. When he had the religious woman, the second wife, what do I need to pray for? She's telling me go learn. So, okay, I'll come and you hear what I'm saying? So what's actually good for us, we're not realizing, and we're thinking it's bad for us. But really it's good for us because that's the when you have weights, what do you call that? Resistance. Exactly. That's the resistance that you need in order to train yourself. That's the right word. That's the resistance that you need in order to train yourself. Like I said, I read this book years ago. Yeah, maybe 10, 15 years ago. Had shalom problems, no shalom Bible, but it wasn't, to the point that it was not controllable. It was there, But after 26 years of a certain challenge, this book is a different understanding. You hear? So I had to go through that in order to understand, to realize what a powerful, tool this is. So now, knowing this, we have to somehow convey to our youngsters that this is a powerful tool. You hear? And it's not easy, because I had a class yesterday where most of the guys are not married and they're young. And it's hard. It's hard to explain to them that you cannot comment on a woman's actions.
They don't accept?
They don't. I said, listen, if it's not salty, don't comment. So he's like, well, you want it salty. I said, you have to work on yourself, and she'll become better. He's like, what? You're gonna work on yourself, so you're gonna put more salt? Yeah, that's what he did.
They're immature. They don't know.
So I said, yes. You know what I mean? In the yes sense, like this, meaning it'll come to the point that when you fill her up with the right stuff that she needs, she'll be like, sweetie, how is it? It's like, it's good. A little bit unsweet. Oh, next time I'll do, But when she doesn't have that fulfillment, and she asks you, how is it? And you say, well, it's a little bit lacking salt. Then you cook every day. Well, what is this? I spend here so many hours. The outcome is going to be different. Because when she's fulfilled, she wants to do nice to you.
Also, just to add to that, it could also develop a character. Like, it doesn't have to be the perfect salt.
Absolutely.
You can accept.
Absolutely.
The fact that there's dinner on the table.
100%.
100%.
But you know what? At a certain point, it's going to come to the point where there's going to be mutual understanding. Why is there no understanding before? Because there's a you against me factor.
But isn't there, that's a form of commenting? If you say, I need more, it would be better with some more salt?
No. What are you saying?
You're saying understanding, right?
Right.
So you're saying that she would come to the point where you can express the fact that you prefer more salt.
Yes.
But isn't that a comment?
No, it's not. You know why?
Why not?
Because when I'm against you, I couldn't care about you. And therefore, if you tell me that there's not enough salt, don't tell me that I messed up. Shut your mouth and eat it. You don't like the way I do it, you do it. You understand what I'm saying? There's a difference between me against you and us working together. When we have strife in the family, it's me against you. It's not openly, but that's what it is. You know what? I'm going to make them listen, drive the kids. What do you mean? You hear? It's me against you. I'm busy right now. You drive the kids. Yeah, go shopping. Yeah, but I'm working. Yeah, okay, I'm also working. After work, go shopping. Before work, go shopping. You understand? It's me against you. I wanna trip him up because he's getting on my nerves. But when it's a mutual etta, she's more than willing to go shopping. She'll do the extra, mile to make you able to work easily or what have you. You hear? So there's a difference right over here in the brain. You hear? And both of yours. So now we're working together. So now when you tell me about the salt, I'm more than happy to change because I love you. I want to work with you because you treat me so nice. You understand what I'm saying?
Okay.
You treat me so nice. So he says, at every level he would have yearned and prayed to take another step forward. And so he would have progressed. But he stubbornly insisted that he didn't want any obstacles. So Hashem gave him what he wanted. And as soon as the obstacles were gone, so was his motivation and inspiration. The second lady that he married, everything was good. No obstacles. So he had no motivation. He had no interest. He had nothing to push him. You hear? What's interesting? I used to make wine. And at the time that I used to make wine, I had zero time to make wine. Zero. Like I was busy with the pizzeria. I was working from morning till night. By the time I come home, I would make wine 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock at night. And it was very stressful, very strenuous, and I did it anyway. Now, I have a lot of time. Damn it, I can't do it. You know what I say? I don't have time. It's like, what's the concept? It's when you're busy doing things, you do it all the way. You understand? At least that's the kind of person I am. When you have a lot of it, you strive. Same thing over here. When he had all this pressure, You can go against the pressure and you could build yourself up. But when there's no pressure, you know what you do? You're like on lazy cruise control mode. And therefore, to step your game up in the service of Hashem, you cannot be lazy, lazy mode off, right? Because it's not going to help. I'll learn tomorrow. I'll pray later. You hear what I'm saying? So you kind of let your guard down. But when you're pressured, what do you want to do? You want to do it now. You want to do it now. Why? Because there's a push to do it. Here's another detail of providence. Hashem knew how low his level of spirituality was. So he gave him his first wife whose spiritual level was lower than his. In this way, she could look up at him. She could look up to him. And he would have someone else to inspire, which would have helped him grow. Yes. But when he stubbornly insisted that she wasn't good enough, he got a wife whose spiritual level was much higher than his. Now who he's going to inspire? You hear what I'm saying?
He's not going to respect him.
Exactly. She disdained him. And when he felt the great gulf that separated between them, he lost all his self-confidence and he became a nobody. He began to persecute himself and in the end persecuted her as well, belittling her to protect his shattered ego. He couldn't stand to see her burning for Hashem when he could hardly get himself out of bed. The wheel turned full circle. Now he was the one trying to prevent his spouse from serving Hashem. You hear? The first one, the spouse prevented him to serve Kilu, right? She was against him. Not that she prevented him, but she didn't want to. So there he felt, well, how can you do that? You hear what I'm saying? How can you do that? But he was growing. Why? Because he wanted to show her how to be, come on, be religious like me. When he got the second one, when he got the second one, all of a sudden she's religious. Who is he going to inspire? So now he became a nobody. And what happened? He became the one that didn't want to do anything. Meaning the wheel turned around. That's why it's very, very important for us not to forget about that whole what comes around goes around type of situation. Here we have to make sure to be in our circle that Hashem gives us and to deal with that circle here, because we could get such a slap in our face.
But what's interesting is that Hashem did not interfere with the free will of this guy.
Hashem,
even though it was against what Hashem wanted.
He tried. Hashem tried to leave him there. Why? Because the rabbi told him, pray. Rabbi didn't say go get divorced. At the end of the day, he came to the rabbi. Yeah. He came to the rabbi, I want to get divorced. Rabbi said to him, don't. Rabbi said to him, don't. Until the end, you know how many times Rabbi? 4 or 5 times Rabbi worked on him. At the end, he didn't listen to the rabbi and he did what he wanted. He should have listened to the rabbi. Maybe the rabbi is right. You hear? And then Hashem said, okay, I'll take you where you want to go. You see, Hashem will put obstacles. You know what I mean? Hashem will put obstacles for us not to do the wrong move. But then when you're gonna, persist.
At the end of the day, a person has the free will to make decisions.
Exactly. Exactly. No, Hashem will help you not to do.
About this. No, He will help you to be on the right path. But if you persist and be stubborn,
exactly. Then He says, okay.
He will take you on the wrong path and help you there.
Yes.
That I don't know. I don't like that. I don't know.
No. Sorry. What you think is the wrong path. What you think is the wrong path. That's what he meant.
Oh, I thought you meant that if I'm being, if let's say my son or any of my children, God forbid, they want to be knuckleheaded and go in the wrong direction, I'm going to do my best to try to redirect them. But if they're going to be so stubborn, like, I can't help you.
Yeah. You have to let them make the mistake.
That's how I view it.
But Hashem helps. You will help. You say, you want to go this way? I'll help you. Go hit the head.
I don't know.
No, but he says, what if he doesn't want? They are children. They're very, very stubborn.
No.
How much could you do?
He will help you to go this way. That's what Hashem does.
Which way? The wrong way.
Yeah.
The wrong way.
Yes.
I see what you're saying. He says over here.
There
the
is
young. Yeah, absolutely.
But I don't know if Hashem is like with a smile, like
No. It's not with a smile. By the way, let's just put this concept of what he's saying a little bit deeper. See, what's the whole underlying fact of she is your mirror image? Yeah? Meaning, when a person is looking outside and is desiring other women, Hashem wants to jar him that he should stop. Why?
Redirect
Because he knows that this is good. This is good for you, the wife you have. But when he's saying no, in his mind I'm like, I want that one. You know what he does? He says, okay, I have to give you that one, but you got to get divorced from this one. You got to leave this one. You got to hate this one. So therefore, what happens? All of a sudden, she starts to display attitudes of, I can't stand her. You hear what I'm saying? He says, why? Why does he do that? Because you're looking for that one. So I have to make you hate her, you hear? But not like make you. You're going to hate her through the actions that she's doing, which if you're going to understand them are going to improve you. But if you're going to not understand them, you're going to hate her. In order to do what? In order for you to get that, because that's what you want. So I got to bring it to you. That's why he says, when we have the resolve in our minds, I don't want that. I'm sorry, Hashem, I made a mistake. I don't want that. I want to be good with my wife. All of a sudden, he makes her, you hear him say? He changes her to where you're looking like, well, she's not that bad anyway. You know what I mean? She's not that bad. After all, why? Because now he geared his attention away from there.
Yes.
You hear?
You said in the dental chair it's difficult.
Yeah.
In these moments, I say inside, Chas v'shalom, Chas v'shalom. If a thought comes, I right away say, Chas v'shalom, Chas v'shalom. I feel at ease.
Oh, very good, very good. But you know what? Many of us don't do that. That's very good what you just said. But many of us, when we have that challenge, you know, we say, wow, that would be nice to try. You hear? I say, oh, okay, no problem. You want to try? I gotta do what you said. And then when you come home, he makes it like a dog. And she, rah, 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 you know? And now you're like, what's wrong with her? I hate her. Why? Because I want to try that. And then if you don't give that up by doing shuvah, I'm sorry, Hashem. When she's wow, 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 I'm sorry, Hashem. I know that it was because of that. And that's why I'm getting this. So if you do tshuva, he's going to slowly change her because that's, okay, you did tshuva for that. Now I'm going to make her like you because you want to stay with her. But if you persist, I knew she was a dog, but that one, I would like to try that one. What does he do? He makes her from a dog to a worse dog. And then you like, oh my God, I hate her. And he was like, I want her. You know what? I could divorce her and I could marry her. It would be so great. Look how beautiful she is. She's so calm. Meanwhile, he doesn't know what kind of hell is there. You understand? And therefore, that's what he does. So in a way, what you just said, that he takes you where you want to go. Yes. He's taking you where you want to go. Yes.
I'm not going to deny what it says, but it just feels like if he's a loving father.
Who? No. Hashem says, listen, I give you, but he's
there is free will.
But he's giving
he
you.
helps us always be on the right direction.
But he is. Why? He's making her bark. She's barking now. It's not an automatic.
That's love, because he wants us to work on ourselves.
Very good. But if you're not going to listen to the bark, what is he saying? It's going to get worse.
Because
And the bark is getting
better.
better. Now, you know what should have been? This should have been. I want that woman. You come home, she's like, hi, Slatki Moy, how are you? Here's your dinner, here's your this. And then I'll be like, yeah, what do I want her? I don't need her. You know? I don't need. Here, Hashem is not giving you free choice. Here, Hashem is going against your choice. Why? I want her. Again, I don't want anybody. I don't want anybody. I'm just giving you an example, right?
I know.
You go like this, you go like this. I desire her. So Hashem, right now, is stopping you by making her nice. She's got, hi, sweetie, how are you? Come, here's dinner, sit down, let me take care of you, let me do that. So now all of a sudden you're like, you hear? Yeah. So now you have no free choice. Because free choice is, I desire her. Hashem's okay, I have to go by what you that's what you want? So he gives you a signal. Rah, 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 rah. Yeah? She's getting on your nerves. Why? Because number one, Hashem wants you to wake up and say, that's no good for you. Number two, and if you don't listen to her things, you want that. So I'm going to give you it's a powerful thing. If you think about it, it's
on top of this, there is a still concept. Am I giver or taker?
Oh.
It's on top of
yes.
It. Because when I look at her,
yes.
I lose my status of a giver.
Very good.
I am a taker.
Yes. Not only that. On top of that, now we're going to see if you're a man or not. Because now she's coming, rah, rah, rah. I hate you. Now I want her even more. You hear what I'm saying? Because that's what happens. See, this is such a, the more I think about it, I'm thinking, wow, it's an amazing thing, right? I see he's got it. It's an amazing thing how Hashem puts this all together, where it's all up to you. You're the boss, my friend.
Like this guy.
No. So this is his concept.
That's why he says.
That's
it's
why
all to us.
exactly. It's all up to you. You want to fix yourself and stop from that Yetzirah over there. She's gonna automatically become good. You know why? Because you made the resolve. Hashem, I don't want that. I want that. You want that? Then I'm gonna make her good for you because that's what you want. And if you're not gonna listen to that, and you're still gonna desire that, and you're not gonna fix yourself, she's gonna get even worse. You hear?
But why?
Now listen to the mirror. What do you mean? What?
Because the message has to get louder.
Yeah, and not only that, but your desire for her is even more. So I have to make this thing faster. And that's why he's what? I want to divorce her. How many times we say that? Rabbi, I want to divorce her.
We're not allowed to use these words.
No, but he does. Why? Because he desires somebody else. Let me tell you something. If there was nobody else, he would never even use that word. Why does he say that? Because he knows that I have another option. Why? He saw this one, he saw that one, he saw other options. Like, I don't want her because I desire other options. If there were no other options, I wouldn't even use this word. I would say, no, Rabbi, let's fix her. You understand what I'm saying? Let's help her.
The first case that the Lord yesterday, right?
No,
The guy,
no.
that he didn't have anybody else. He
Oh.
he wanted a better life.
We don't know what was in his mind.
Well, no,
One second.
No.
He cannot tell you what's in his mind. He didn't start telling him, listen, are you desiring another woman? He didn't say that.
No.
Why? Because at the end of the day, he didn't start interviewing him. But you know what? Deep behind his mind, for sure he had another woman he has in mind.
Yeah. You can
Again,
see it
But he
because
didn't say that.
He got married right away.
No,
He didn't say that,
he
though.
saw, I want a woman that...
Better than
that-
Exactly. You
He
see?
already had a different
He-
image.
He didn't see the woman.
You see what he's trying to say? There was no other woman involved, but there was.
The image.
But he
Because
didn't say.
no.
He had
Again,
an imagination that
you
the
have
other
to-
one, that religious better
so you know what? He should have been without a wife and become religious. Why? I gotta get married to her. He should have said, no, I want to be a celibate like the first guy. Remember the first we started?
Yeah.
I want to be a celibate, which means I'm gonna put myself in the shul. I'm gonna drink water. No.
This guy had in mind that
He wanted a better woman, a woman who's gonna be good everywhere, not only in bed. I wanted to be religious as well. You understand what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, it's his desire.
It was desire.
Of course, desire.
Not saying woman.
Desire for another woman.
Right. Both desire for another woman, but you don't see another woman.
No, I don't agree with you. I don't agree with you. I don't agree with you. I think that he saw her friend with a religious woman who was there and said, I desire that type of a woman. You desire that type of a woman.
I just want to tell you that the other guy, the first guy,
Yes.
he had a desire in his mind, in fantasy. He had it. You understand?
Even
Without
fantasy,
seeing it.
even
It's
fantasy,
bad, it's bad.
even
It's bad,
fantasy
that's what
is a desire that you want.
Right.
Hashem says, okay,
That's
you
a
want
good choice.
to, you want to
You're
be.
not looking
Let me tell you some scary thing. I'm gonna tell you some scary thing about a desire that wasn't even realistic. Many years ago, when I just got married, had a baby, a certain uncle of mine who was in jail, and in the shower, I remember exactly when this was. In the shower, as I'm taking a shower, I'm thinking, Lynn, I wonder how it is to be in jail. I'm just, not that I didn't want to be in jail. I'm thinking, I wonder how it is that my uncle's in jail. 2 days later, I got arrested. I was in jail. I got so scared. I was like, wow, a thought. Did I want to be in jail? No. But I said, I wonder how it is to be in jail. I should have said, oh, okay. You wonder? Okay, no problem. I got you.
That's a very scary way to live life.
You know
It's
what?
not out to get
If you ask my wife how many times I thought things and it was right there after a day or two. And sometimes right there. And she tells me, listen, how come you never think about winning the lottery? And I have an answer for that. Because deep inside, I don't want to win. Because I say, if I win, how many problems are going to be there? When people win money, start having kid problems, marriage problems, this problems. So I want to win the lottery, but I don't want to win the lottery. I want to win 50, 60 million dollars. So sometimes, you know what I say to Hashem? I say, Hashem, let me win like $1 million, because $1 million is nothing. Nowadays, $1 million is zero. It's a down payment on a house, and you still got to pay a mortgage.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? So even then, it was. That's why the book say, whenever you have a thought, always say to the good. Always say Chas v'Shalom. Many times we have thoughts that come into our minds. Like in that instance, I should have said, I wonder how it is in jail. But Chas v'Shalom Hashem, I don't want to ever be, But I never thought I'd be arrested. It was shtuyot, by the way. Yeah, but I never thought this. So then I never thought to say not.
Good example.
Listen, it happened. I spent 24 hours there, and then I saw what it means to jail. 50 guys in one cell like this, It was mamish shtuyot. It was they shouldn't have even done that, but they did. People. So what I'm trying to say is, he's saying, I thought about a woman. Hashem says, oh, you have thoughts of a different woman? No problem. I'm going to have to make this one ugly in your eyes. I'm going to have to make this one terrible in your eyes so that you can divorce her so we can go to the next woman. Because you want it, no? You want it, no? So then I gotta take you there. I have to take you there. It's just like you said. He takes you where you want to be. Now you're saying, you know what? How could Hashem take you to sin? Well, guess what?
No, that's our free will.
He will take you to sin.
I think we're.
And when you're gonna come to that sin area, he'll make sure everything goes the way for you to sin the best way. Why? Stop me, Hashem. Give me a padnoshka. Trip me. Put a stumbling block in front of me. What is this? You hear? So this Shalom Bayit situation is a beautiful, beautiful analogy that or comparison or understanding that we made right now with this whole, I'm thinking about her, she's now becoming bad, I'm looking bad at her. When we understand the situation, that's why he says, when you thought and she comes in, bow, bark, what are you supposed to do? Chatati aviti pashati. Don't scream at her. Don't say, hey, what do you open your mouth again? How many times you like your mother always ba 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 ba? No, my friend, no. I'm looking at you, says Hashem. I'm looking at you're desiring another woman, yeah, and therefore I need to make her ugly in your eyes so you can get rid of her so we can go to the next project. You hear? If you're not going to understand what you're doing to yourself, you're calling it up on yourself. If you don't understand that, that's not my problem. I'm just working with you.
This is like a concept tzara.
Absolutely. But tzaraat, who are we gonna blame but ourselves? It's on our body. Nobody did it to us. So we know lashon hara, this and that. But over here it's a different person barking at me. You understand? It's a dog barking at me. Like this morning, twice a dog barked at me. Now I'm thinking, stupid dog. But you know what? The dog is not stupid. Something in me that Hashem doesn't like that the dog barked at me. Now I'm realizing that. Why? Why would the dog bark at me? Sometimes he's there, he doesn't bark at me. I didn't even know he's there. He's in another neighbor's there. As soon as I go, he scares me like that. You don't know he's there.
I know.
But why did that happen? It's not the dog.
Right.
You're doing something I don't like. I gotta sit down on what it is that you don't like, Hashem. I have to see what is it that you don't like. But he did it twice today. You understand?
We have to be all simple.
Oh, simple.
When you're simple.
Yeah, but sometimes we are simple. We are simple. So let's just finish this thing because we almost said. Here's another detail of the providence. Hashem knew how low his level was. Oh, we said that. So he gave him the first wife. We said that as well. And therefore, his spiritual level couldn't get up when he gave him the higher wife. He couldn't. He says, she disdained him. And when he felt the great gulf that separated between them, he lost all his self-confidence. He began to persecute himself, and in the end, persecuted her as well, belittling her to protect his shattered ego. Yeah, that's also we do. A lot of times, our wives touch our ego, and in order to protect ourselves, what do? We try to put her down. How could she put me down? Now I got to be a little bit above her, so I got to put her down. Here, and this becomes a cascade of who puts who down, and then the both of you are over here, and what happens? Two people who are completely down. You understand? It says, so he couldn't stand to see her burning for Hashem when he could hardly get himself out of bed. The wheel turned, and it was so he says, holy constriction. The young man didn't understand that the purpose of marriage is having someone who constricts you. You know what marriage is? I gotta stop you. If not, you're gonna be sleeping with this one. You're gonna look at that one, and you look at this. Blah, blah, blah. I gotta. Whoa! You're a horse that's out of control. Easy does it. Yeah. It says the constriction then stimulates your yearning, motivation, and prayer. The Zohar teaches that Hashem punished Nadav and Avihu, the sons of Aaron, the high priest, because they didn't want to be constricted and therefore didn't marry. Wow.
Many guys we have.
Yeah. You know why?
They don't want.
I don't want to be constricted. Right here's the answer. And because of what? Gava. You don't tell me what to do. I don't want to be constricted. You hear? That's why it comes back to what I said 2 days ago. If we really understand the subconscious of them, they don't want to get married. Why? If they want to get married, achshav, today they're going to get married. Today the shadchan is going to call, I got somebody for you. Really? He's going to go, wow, I like her. Why? Because you made the resolve to get married. You hear? He says, because they didn't want to be constricted and therefore didn't marry. They wanted to serve Hashem with no barriers or restrictions. When they attempted to overstep their level, He burnt them alive in front of all of Israel. Hashem wants a person's service within the context of constriction. Growth means overcoming obstacles by desire, longing, and prayer. You hear? He says, if you have everything, you'll never become a normal person. Why? There's nothing to fight for. That's why many, many rich kids are. And what did we say over here? Treat your kids, rich kids, like poor children. Remember? We said that. Rabbi Avigdor Miller, he said it. I didn't say it. Rabbi Avigdor Miller said, treat your kids like poor children. Don't give them everything. Don't buy them the $1,200 goose muckle shoot or whatever, $400 shoes and things like. No, chas v'sholom. I need money. How much? Yeah, you got it. No, chas v'sholom. Doing the worst thing in the world. Somebody calls me up 2-3 days ago. My sister and her husband, they're like two cheesy bekors basically, but especially the husband. He's like, he doesn't work. All day they're smoking, whatever. So I find out that whenever they are done, and whatever, they call this mother, sends the money. Calls this sister, sends the money. Said this sister, sends the money. Said cousin, send the money. So miskanim basically. Miskanim, They try to do whatever, but they don't have rent money. We couldn't get the rent money. Say, okay, no problem, Zell. So I said, you know what they're doing? They're killing them slowly. All day they're smoking. For that they have money. But to pay the rent, they have no money. I said, all people, stop giving the money. Once you stop giving the money, they're going to fall, they're going to get up, and they're going to say, we have nobody to help us. And therefore, what are they going to do? Help themselves. You understand? Help themselves. So therefore, when we have the constriction from the wife, from the business, from this, from challenges, we're able to grow. But if we don't have, we are unable to grow. The difference between Nadav and Avihu and the students of our story is that the former truly burned for Hashem with all their hearts. Meaning Nadav and Avihu, they really wanted to serve Hashem. So their lack of constriction caused them to burn in their own uncontrolled flame of enthusiasm in sanctification of Hashem's holy name. But our student didn't burn for Hashem at all. His only burning, quote unquote, was to prove himself better than others by finding fault in them. Found fault in his wife, found fault in this other wife. When he was faced with someone who was obviously far superior than him, the second wife was much better. What? He fell in despair. He had nothing to say. Why? Because she was more religious. She was making the money. She was a better person. So what happened? He fell.
Now the truth came out.
So the truth was not that he wanted to serve Hashem and I wanted to be religious. No. You just wanted to make yourself look good by putting another person down.
What a deep psychology.
Very deep psychology. And therefore, we should never be afraid of challenges. When we have challenges in life, it's a sign from Hashem that I know you are Schwarzenegger. And you're able to pick up much more than what you're picking up now. Here. And therefore, I'm going to give you these weights, quote unquote, weights, for you to sculpt yourself, character-wise, in a much better way. And that's why He gives us these challenges. And people are, how come this guy got this one? Because Hashem knows this guy is Chizubekor, he cannot do anything. So He gives him a wife that's, bubula. But you, the one that's getting challenged, The one that's going on a date and falling, going on a date and falling, getting engagement, broken engagement. He says, no, you can fix your character traits much better than a girl 19 years old, she gets married, everything's fine. I don't get it. What's going on? She didn't even do anything. First guy she went out with, she got married. Yes, because Hashem knows she cannot work on her character.
So there's no point to look at others.
Absolutely.
yeah.
No point. No
That's
point.
number one on the
Nabarot, on the contrary, when you are faced with challenges more than anybody else, you should know you are the top level of Hashem's, arsenal of.
We say it every Shabbat.
Yeah?
Shiftecha
Yeah.
u'mishantecha
Yeah.
hema yinachamuni.
Yeah.
What it means?
Huh?
Hashem, you take a rod,
Yeah.
you hit me with this,
Yeah.
for me eta uspakayim.
Absolutely. And
Okay.
therefore, we should never be afraid of challenges. Baruch Adonai Le'olam. Amen. Amen.
Amen.